What's up, everybody? Kyle here at Let's Talk Wax, and I'm here to bring you an update to my top 15 prospects on the 2022 Bowman Draft checklist. Now, on your right, you will see the Let's Talk Wax ranking system, and I will rank each of these 15 players based on that. The Let's Talk Wax scores are based on player ceiling, meaning if they achieve their full potential. Now, there are some qualifications and notes. I only qualify hitters under the age of 24 and within rookie limits, and I also value production a lot more than projection. So you're not going to see guys like Elijah Green and Tamar Johnson on here who are struggling a little bit in the lower minors right now. But without further ado, let's jump into my top 15 prospect performers out of 2022 Bowman Draft. At number 15, we've got Dalton Rushing, Los Angeles Dodgers, 22.4. He is a catcher playing in high A. He's had a pretty solid season so far with a 240 ISO. He's got 16 doubles and 8 home runs, so the doubles do kind of pad his ISO more than the home runs. He knows how to take a walk. He's got a 1.32 K percentage, and over his career, he's hitting 319 with a 276 ISO. So some pretty good 2023 numbers, a pretty good career set right there as far as offensive production goes. He is a smaller sample size guy, and you're going to see that a lot with the college draftees in this video. A lot of these guys are working with pretty small sample sizes of less than about 400 plate appearances. So there is always room for drastic change with guys who have small sample sizes, so do keep that in mind. Now, I would love to see Rushing get promoted to Double A, but the Dodgers are still pretty high on Diego Cartaya, who hasn't really done anything but hit home runs over his minor league career. He's not going to hit for a lot of average. He's got fringy K numbers, but the Dodgers seem to be very high on Cartaya, and he's kind of getting blocked, and staying in high A as a result of that. So we'll have to see what happens with Rushing over the course of the 2023 season. At number 14, we've got an interesting prospect, Ryan Ritter, Colorado Rockies, 22.6, played at the University of Kentucky. He was a really good shortstop there. Coming into the draft, I think he was more looked upon as a defensive upside guy, not so much offensive production, but he's really turned it on since being drafted. He's hitting 305 this season with a 300 plus ISO, 301, some pretty solid K numbers, a 24.4 K percentage and a sub 2 K to walk ratio. He's got 18 home runs. He's tied for first on this list with Jordan Beck, who we'll get to later. 6 stolen bases, and you can see over his career, he's doing the same thing. He's put up a lot of damage numbers since being drafted back in 2022. Now, the big thing with Ryan Ritter is he's almost 23, and he was playing and did all of his damage in low A. He was promoted to high A yesterday. So we may have had a handful of plate appearances today since I posted this video, but he has no real experience outside of low A. Way too old for the level, but I really can't deny his production. If he puts up numbers like this at low A, I have a pretty good feeling he's going to come close to it in high A. But he's a guy with his age, 22.6, I'd really like to see in Double A by now. So good defense. Solid offensive upside so far over a small sample size in the lower minors, but right now we're trying to see what Ryan Ritter can do in the upper minors. He's the cheapest on this list at $10. He's not ranked in the top 100, not ranked organizationally yet. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3. At number 13, we've got a pretty high floor prospect in my opinion, Ignacio Nacho Alvarez with the Atlanta Braves. He's 20.2. He's played the majority of his games at shortstop in high A. He's got one of the better hit tools on this entire checklist and some of the best K numbers as well. Now, he may not grow into much power. He's got a .071 ISO, one of the lowest on this list, and the lowest career ISO at 0.71. Now, his only sample size is out of 2023 so far, so we're looking at 292 plate appearances. But the hit tool is really, really good. I think he's going to be a guy that hits for a lot of average, and he's got some defensive upside so far playing shortstop in high A. Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen when he gets to Double A, Triple A, if he's going to stick at shortstop or play third base, but the Braves have put him at shortstop for every single game so far in high A. He is the daily shortstop there. So he's not ranked in the top 100. He's number 14 in the organization. He's a number 3 on the Let's Talk Wax rank, and I think he's the second cheapest on this list at about $15. At number 12, we've got Jacob Melton, a Houston Astros center fielder playing in high A, 22.8, and the Houston Astros system is pretty loaded in the outfield. They've got a lot of prospects playing pretty well right now, and it's going to be difficult for anyone to punch through because there's so much competition in the outfield. But Jacob Melton has a pretty solid chance. I would like to see him in Double-A by the end of the season. He's only in high A right now. Over 266 plate appearances, he's batting .231, but he's only got a .250 batting average of balls in play. So he's not having a lot of luck, but I am optimistic about Melton's contact numbers. He's got a 22.5 K percentage and 1.66 K to walk ratio. So really good K numbers. I think the average will come around. What really impresses me with Melton are the home runs and stolen bases. He's got 14 home runs and 29 stolen bases so far, and that's only through 266 plate appearances, as I mentioned before. So he's a speed power guy in the making, but I would just need to see what he can do in Double-A to go any higher than a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3 on him right now. But there is some speed power upside here. He's not in the top 100. He's organizationally the number 2 player with the Houston Astros. Drew Gilbert is also another infielder that is performing well in Houston Astros system, but he's not have a first auto in this. He's only got first chrome, so he may be a guy you have to find some lower numbered color refractors for, and he's a good player to watch. Keep an eye on him, but I want to see what he can do at the Double-A level. At number 11, a floor guy again, kind of like Ignacio Alvarez, Jud Fabian, Baltimore Orioles, 22.8 center fielder, playing between high A and Double-A so far in 2023. He got promoted to Double-A very recently, and he's kind of struggled a little bit, but he has hit 4 home runs and 59 plate appearances. So everything kind of tanked but the power since his promotion to Double-A. But over the course of high A, he's hit high A, Double-A, he's hit 268 with a 222 ISO, kind of fringy K percentage at 27.3, which could go either way. A sub 2 K to walk rate where I like it at 1.8. He's got 13 homers and 22 stolen bases. So there's above average power, above average speed there. He's got a 284 career batting average, a 236 career ISO, and fringy K numbers on his career as well. Now, the problem with Fabian is he's playing center field right now in Double-A, but Colton Cowser is probably one of the top outfield prospects in all of minor league baseball with plus defensive upside in center field. So you may see it switch with Jud Fabian to a corner outfield spot. He's not a top 100 rankee. Organizationally, he's number 15 in the stacked Orioles system. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3, and his first chrome autos are about $25. Now, if you guys enjoy Bowman Chrome baseball cards and you want to help support the Let's Talk Wax channel, I've got a Patreon page with tons of exclusive content. You got top 100 Bowman Chrome autographs list, a top 125 Bowman Chrome autos under $50 list. I do complete autograph and first chrome checklist breakdowns for every release since 2019. I've got a fun private Discord server over there with lots of knowledgeable members and early access to all of my YouTube content. Like I said, if you guys enjoy prospecting and you want to help support the channel, check out my Patreon page. I'll put a link to it in the video description. At number 10, we've got Ivan Melendez, Arizona Diamondbacks, first base ceiling 23.4, one of the older guys on this list, still in high A. I'd really like to see this guy get a boost to Double-A and see how the power translates. He's got double extra large juice, the 277 batting average with 325 ISO, the highest 2023 ISO on this list. Now, the bad thing about Melendez are the K numbers. He's got a 33.3 K percentage and a 4.10 K to walk ratio, which is not very good. He does have a lot of juice, but it comes at the cost of some pretty ugly K numbers. So he's got a 16 home runs so far, 4 stolen bases. Like I said, there's not a lot of speed here. His upside is at first base defensively. And what you're really betting on is the power. How much power can he get to in Double-A? Because that's going to be the big question. Like I said, he's got the fringy K numbers, not so fringy. They're pretty rough in high A right now. So I'm anxious to see what Melendez can do with his K numbers and power output in Double-A. But he's a pretty cheap buy-in at $25. Organizationally, he's number 7 with the D-backs, and he's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 3. At number 9, we've got another sort of floor player, but a guy I'm really starting to like, Victor Scott with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's 22.3. He's a center fielder with double plus speed, played through high A and double A so far in 2023. 335 plate appearances, hitting 283 with incredible K numbers, and he is second in all of minor league baseball in stolen bases behind Chandler Simpson at 52. So we've got really, really good speed here. And like I said, Chandler Simpson's played the majority of his time in low A, where bases are pretty much a gimme. And Victor Scott stolen 52 between high A and double A. So if I had to pick one who had more in-game speed, it would probably be Victor Scott. 52 stolen bases is incredible, and he's got a pretty solid hit tool to back it up at 283. Now, the problem with a lot of these hit speed guys is the ISO, the power production. And Victor Scott is not going to hit a lot of home runs. He's not going to hit for a lot of power. You can see he's got a 117 ISO. I think it's the third lowest on this list. But the thing that Victor Scott can do is get on first base and steal second, which basically turns every single into a double at the double A level right now. So there is some upside, maybe a bottom of the order bat here. Like I said, more of a floor bat. He's not going to be a superstar. He just doesn't have the juice for the hobby right now, but he's got elite speed, and he's producing his hit tool pretty well so far right now. Not a top 100 prospect. He's all the way at the bottom at 25 in the Cardinals organization. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 2.5, and his first chrome autos are about $30. At number 8 is Mikey Romero, and I talked to you guys about projection and production in the beginning of this video, and Mikey Romero is probably one of the guys I leaned a little bit more on projection than production. He had some back issues, and he's working with a 25 plate appearance sample size, so it's super small. But I didn't put guys like Termarr Johnson and Elijah Green on this list just because they're striking out quite a bit. Termarr's got about a 30% K rate. He's hitting about 230, although he is just a fresh 19 in low A. He's kind of struggling. And Elijah Green is striking out at alarming rates up in the 40s. So I did lean on a little bit of projection with Mikey Romero, but the numbers that we do have over the small sample size are pretty solid. He's hitting 273 with really good K numbers, a 12 K percentage, and a 1 K to walk ratio. He's already taken as many walks as strikeouts so far in 2023. No home runs or stolen bases yet. Career-wise, he's hitting 297 with a 168 ISO and a sub 20 K percentage. So a lot of things to look forward here, possibly with Mikey Romero. He is a shortstop prospect. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Marcelo Meyer being ahead of him and having the elite capability at shortstop that he has. But he's number 5 in the Boston Red Sox organization. He's a 2.5 on the Let's Talk Wax rank, and he's a bit expensive for me at $130 for his sample size. And like I said, I think that price is weighing really heavily on projection. I'm not sure if I'd be paying that much for Mikey Romero right now, but you never really know, and that's why I leave the options up to you. But we'll see what happens over a larger sample size at the end of 2023. At number 7, we've got Drew Gilbert, another Tennessee player. We'll talk about another Tennessee player next in Jordan Beck. Houston Astros, 22.7 outfielder, played between high A and double A this year so far. He got really hot in high A about a month ago. He got promoted to double A, and he struggled a little bit with contact. Now, his K numbers have remained really, really good in double A. So like I said with Jacob Melton, I think there's room for growth in the batting average category. He's got an 18.9 K percentage and 1.45 K to walk ratio, 9 homers and 9 stolen bases between the two levels. Career-wise, he's hitting 273 with a 178 ISO and a 17.3 K percentage. So I'm really expecting Drew Gilbert to turn it around in double A based on his K numbers. It's a big adjustment. It's a huge step from high A to double A. I don't think a lot of people in the prospecting community understand how hard that transition is for players. He's number 73 in the top 100, number 1 in the Houston Astros system. So we've got Melton and Drew Gilbert 1 and 2 in that system. Both outfielders. Like I said, it's a pretty stacked outfield system. They got Colin Barber in there as well. 2.5 on a Let's Talk Wax rank and about an $80 auto right now. At number 6, we've got Jordan Beck, Colorado Rockies, 22.1 outfielder playing in high A Spokane 315 plate appearances and a 289 average with a 267 ISO. So we've got a pretty solid hit tool and some way above average power right here with Jordan Beck. He is a pretty big bat. He's got 18 home runs, and as I said, he is tied for first place on this list with Ryan Ritter, fellow Colorado Rockies prospect, and they will be joining up together when Ritter gets up there, which he probably already has. 8 stolen bases, really good career numbers for Jordan Beck, a 291 batting average with 245 ISO. So he's really close to that 300 plus batting average, 200 plus ISO. That's kind of the unicorn in the hobby for me. Now the big thing with Beck is I'd really like to see what he's capable outside of Spokane if he can hit in Double-A. And that's the problem with a lot of these guys. I'm really waiting to see what they can do in Double-A over a larger sample size, and it makes all draft releases pretty tricky to gauge because they do spend some time in high A. Most of these guys are still in high A, but I think he'll get a promotion here in the near future. He's not a top 100 prospect. Organizationally, he's number 10. He's a 2.5 on the Let's Talk Wax rank for me, and a $50 auto for a pretty good current bat. At number 5, we have Brooks Lee, who I think is going to be a solid big leaguer. I think he's more of a floor prospect, but he could be an annual 250 plus hitter, steal some bases. He's going to be a good shortstop, I think, down the road for the Twins, especially with the health issues that Royce Lewis has. I really like his floor, but he could grow into a big ceiling as well. He's got extremely good K numbers, and I talked about a lot of these guys coming out of 2022 draft being in high A. Brooks Lee has played the entire year so far in Double-A, so that's a huge one up for him. And although he's only batting 265 with a 160 ISO, he hasn't spent any time in high A in 2023. And like I said, Double-A is a whole nother animal compared to high A. Really good K number, 17.2 K percentage with a 165 K to walk ratio. So sub 20, sub 2, right where I like the K numbers. He's got pretty good career numbers, 277 hitter with a 156 ISO and a 16.3 K percentage. So I don't see a lot of juice here. I just see a big floor for Brooks Lee. He could be a perennial shortstop. With the Minnesota Twins, he's number 20 in the top 100, number 1 in the Twins organization. Let's Talk Wax rank of 2.5, and I don't think it will be very long before we see Brooks Lee in the major leagues. At number 4, another young shortstop in the Seattle Mariners organization, Cole Young, 19.9, playing in low A right now, so a little old for low A. I would hope that he could get a promotion to high A by the end of the 2023 season. 350 plate appearance sample size. He's hitting pretty well with 263 batting average, a 158 ISO. But what I love about Cole Young are the K numbers. He's got a 14% K rate. He's only ousted by a few players on this list with that low of a K rate, and he's got the best K to walk ratio on this list. It's a sub 1, which means he walks more than he strikes out. He's got 4 home runs so far on the season, 16 stolen bases, and we'll kind of have to see how the in-game speed plays at high A. There's not a very good read of it in low A because, like I said, it's really easy to steal bags at that level. But he's got 16 so far, a 281 career average with a 157 ISO and a 13.5 career K rate, which is also the best on this list. He's number 58 in the top 100 organizationally in the Seattle Mariners system. He's number 2. The big thing with Cole Young is how much power he will grow into as he develops and moves into the upper minors. And that's kind of the chance you're taking when you're going to spend $145 for his first Chrome Autos. So it's a kind of a gamble right now. He could be another floor guy, but it just depends on how much power Cole Young grows into, and we won't really know until he gets to be about 21, 22 when he starts hitting close to peak physical development. Now, the next 2 guys are absolutely huge bats so far since being drafted. Tyler Locklear and Sterling Thompson have done nothing but mash since the draft, but they are both in high A and they're both over quite small sample sizes. So keep that in mind with both of these guys, but the production that they've had so far has been undeniable, and I couldn't leave them off this list or put them any lower than 5. So Locklear is hitting 311 with a 261 ISO. Great K number, sub 20 K percentage, a sub 2 K to walk ratio. He was really on pace for a promotion to Double-A because he was He was dominating high A, but he got hit by a pitch and broke a bone in his hand. So he's currently on the injured list. It may be a good time to see if prices start to dip, because in this hobby, everybody knows out of sight is out of mind. He's got 11 home runs and 7 stolen bases before the injury. Career-wise, he's hitting 300 with a 245 ISO and a 21.7 K percentage. So there's not a whole lot of defensive upside. He plays the majority of his games first base, but he could be a really big bat coming out of this release. He's number 9 in the organization. He's a Let's Talk Wax rank of 2. And like I said, just remember, we're working with very small sample sizes with Locklear and Sterling Thompson. Now, Thompson, Colorado Rockies, 22.1. He is an outfielder. He missed some time with an injury also this year. He's had 152 plate appearances. Now, the numbers are very jaw-dropping. He kind of seems like a poor man's Kyle Manzardo at the high A level right now, because those are the type of numbers he's putting up. Although Manzardo did a lot of his damage in Double A, Sterling's putting up equivalent numbers in high A. 386, highest on this list, 2023 batting average, 258 ISO, the lowest K percentage in 2023, and a sub 2 K to walk ratio. 6 home runs and 9 stolen bases. Over his career, he's hitting 352, the highest on this list, a 200 plus ISO, and a 17.4 K percentage. So really jaw-dropping video game Kyle Manzardo-esque numbers coming from Sterling Thompson. I think he was about a $10 auto following release of 2022 Bowman Draft, and after his season in 2023 so far, they've gone up to about $35. So just remember, with Sterling Thompson, it's a small sample size. He's yet to play in Double A, so a lot of things still have to kind of pan out, but I couldn't deny the high A production. At number 1 is my favorite prospect in all of minor league baseball. I think the sky is the limit for this kid. Baltimore Orioles, 19.6 shortstop, played between low A and high A so far. I really think if there wasn't so much competition in the Orioles minor league system, that he could probably be in Double A and hold his own right now. In many other organizations, he may be in Double A already, but he's hitting 317 on the year at 19.5 between low A and high A, a 195 ISO, which is 5 thousandths below what I like to see it. The cutoff for the red, and for me is a 200 plus ISO. So he's right there. 20.6 K percentage, should be in red maybe by the end of the year. I like the red qualifications are, like I said, 200 for the ISO, sub 20 for the K percentage, sub 2 for the K to walk ratio. So he qualifies for that at a 1.03 K to walk rate. 7 homers, 20 stolen bases. He's got a 313 batting average, a 181 career ISO, and a 19.0 career K percentage. He's going to be a pretty solid shortstop. There's definitely 5 tools in his box, and it's just a matter of what they can do with Jackson Holliday based on their farm system. They've got so many guys in that system that are just so good. Westberg is kind of moving up and down. He's having a great year too, and he's got a little bit of experience on Holliday. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen in that organization. Hopefully we can see a promotion to Double A by the end of the 2023 season, but I think they really want to keep him at shortstop and give him the majority of his reps at shortstop. So they're not going to push his bat and move him to third base or second base, because like I said, I think he could be the shortstop of the future, and he could also be a very good trade chip if they keep him as shortstop at well. So we'll have to wait and see what the Orioles are planning on doing with all the studs they have in their minor league organization. He's number 1 in the top 100 on MiLB.com. We both agree on that one, and number 1 in the Orioles organization. He's the only elite rank on this list. There actually aren't any 1s or 1.5s. It goes from Jackson Holliday at elite to Sterling Thompson at 2. So you're going to pay heftily for his autos at $350. But like I said, Jackson Holliday, I think, is going to be a special player in about 2 or 3 years. That's going to wrap up this video. Like I said, if you guys want to help support the Let's Talk Wax channel, head over to my Patreon page. I've got tons of exclusive content over there that will keep you busy for hours. You can also get early access to my video info and access to the private Discord server. I'll put a link to it in the video description. I appreciate everyone who supports me on Patreon already. I want to take a minute to thank all my Patreon level 3 sponsors, and be sure to let me know in the comments who you guys are chasing out of this release. With all the attention on 2023 Bowman, we could get some good buys. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe. I will see y'all later.